My name is John Kusku. I am legally blind. I have a genetic disease called retinitis pigmentosa that causes me to have no peripheral vision. So my vision is kind of like looking through a tunnel. And I love this sport of goalball. I've been playing since I was a kid, and I have played twice at the Paralympics, winning silver in 2016 in Rio. When I was a kid, I really loved sports. I played soccer a ton, I played inline hockey a ton, and as I got older, my vision got worse and sports got really fast. And that's when I found Goalball at the sports education camp held at Western Michigan University and run by the Michigan Blind Athletic Association. At that camp, I learned about goalball and lots of other sports that can be adapted for blind and visually impaired people to play. And in 1998, I really fell in love with goalball and started playing on a Michigan team where I traveled all over the USA and Canada. In 2009, I was invited to be part of Team USA, and I got to travel the world playing as a member of our national team. Goalball is an amazing sport. Everyone wears blacked out ski goggles, so the game is played totally blind, and we play with a ball that has bells inside of it so it can be heard. 3 against 3 on a gym floor. The object of the game is to get the ball inside the other team's goal, and they're trying to do the same to you. You stay at your own end and you throw the ball as hard as you can along the floor. A goalball court is the same size as a volleyball court, so the playing surface is 30 feet wide by 60 feet long. And the goals that we defend are like kind of short soccer goals. So they're about 4.5 feet tall, and they're the entire 30-foot width of the court. Anyone can play goalball. And here in the USA, even at the highest domestic level, anyone can compete, even at our national championships. What that would look like for someone without a vision impairment is different because they're not used to being able to react to something without the use of their vision. In order to play internationally, representing your nation, you have to be legally blind. A lot of adaptive sports are divided into classifications where you say what sort of physical ability the person has. And in the blind world, we have what's called B1, B2, and B3. Someone who's B1 is totally blind, they have no usable vision. Someone who has B3 status is legally blind. They probably can't drive a car, but in daily life they can see quite a bit. They can probably read print and walk around without using a white cane. In goalball, you can play as long as you are B3. So B1s, B2s, and B3s compete against one another with no separation during competition. The only division in goalball is between men's and women's. In goalball, we use our sense of touch quite a bit. The goals that are there can be used to line up with for offense or even for defense, especially if you're defending the court by yourself for one throw on a penalty shot. There's also lines on the floor that have a very small piece of string underneath them. And so we know where those lines are, and we can use those lines to position ourselves in the correct place. This is a goalball. It's almost exactly the same size as a basketball, but you might be able to see that it has some holes in it, and it has bells on the inside. These are goalball eye shades. They are completely blacked out plastic. They have a nice stretchy band on the back, and so when we put them on our face, it really completely blocks out all light. Apart from that, anything else that you wear is totally up to you. Most players wear hip pads, elbow pads, and knee pads, and most players who are men wear an athletic cup. In goalball, you have a 10-second shot clock. So from the moment the ball makes contact with your team defensively, or from the moment that the referee says play, the ball has to be thrown across half court. Anytime the ball goes out of bounds, the game stops, the ball gets dropped back in and then restarted. A goalball game is 2 12-minute halves with a 3-minute halftime. Every time the ball goes completely inside the goal, it's a goal. Every time you score, you get 1 point, and whoever has the most goals at the end of the game wins. I give 2 basic pieces of advice to all brand new players, and that's number 1, when you're throwing the ball, you can only score if it stays in bounds. And defensively, you never want to let the ball hit you. If you're just laying there waiting for the ball to hit you, chances are it's gonna miss you or it's gonna hit you and roll right over you. So it's all about timing on defense, waiting for the ball to get close to you and then attacking it with your body. One common penalty for learning goalball players is an eye shade penalty. You are not permitted to touch your eye shades, period, end. Even putting your hand up on your nose near your eye shades can be perceived as touching your eye shades, and you can get a penalty for that. If you need to adjust your eye shades, you raise your hand and you point at your eye shades and you say equipment or eye shades. And then it's the official's job to pause the game at the time they think is a good time to pause the game, and then they'll come over to you, and at that point you're allowed to adjust your eye shades. Illegal coaching is a penalty that anyone in your bench can get if they talk or make any noise during the play of the game. They're only allowed to say anything or make noise when the game is stopped. So if the ball's gone out of bounds or there's been a timeout called. Goalball is not a hand-to-hand sport, meaning each team stays at their own end. In fact, if you on purpose cross half court during a goalball game, that is a penalty. Also, when we're throwing, the ball has to strike the floor, start rolling within 20 feet of our goal in our zone. And so if you're too far forward when you try to throw, the ball won't strike the ground in your zone and you'll get a throwing penalty. If you block the ball and it goes out of bounds in your 20-foot zone, then the ball gets dropped back into you at the intersection of the wing line and the sideline by a referee that's called the line judge. If you block a ball really far forward and it goes out of bounds in the neutral zone, that's also a ball over and the other team gets that ball. The best way to get connected with goalball is to find people who play. At the national level, we have the U.S. Association of Blind Athletes. They govern the sport of goalball at the most elite level. So they run some tournaments and national championships every year within the USA. There's lots of other organizations. So one of them is the Michigan Blind Athletic Association. We're here in Michigan and we run a sports education camp for youth. We also run some practices and we send teams to tournaments. Through the Adaptive Sports and Inclusive Recreation Initiative, you will learn to play goalball. The most important skill in goalball is blocking the ball. Being able to go from your ready position, which for us is usually laying down on the floor on your side, to your attacking position, where you're literally throwing yourself to strike the goal ball with your body spread out to cover as much goal as you can. Another really important skill in goalball is staying oriented, knowing where you are on the court at all times. In goalball, a lot of times, one person has the ball, but they want the ball to be given to somebody else. So we have to come up with ways to do that. One of those ways is with a handoff. So you literally, the person with the ball literally runs to the other person and hands it to them for them to do the next play with. Another way is with a pass down on the ground. Okay, how we block a goal ball. So we need to go from what we call a ready position to an attack position. So I'm gonna show you my attack or my ready position and talk you through what I do. So if I am in the ready position waiting for a goal ball to come and I'm playing right wing, I am here at the end of the wing line. I'm gonna be laying on my side and I'm gonna take my bottom foot and I'm gonna dig the toe of that foot into the ground. That's gonna give me something I can push off toward my sideline with so I can hopefully make it all the way to the sideline to block a goal ball. At the same time, I've got my top arm, my left arm in this case, on top of me in case it's a big bouncing ball coming at me. And my right arm, I have my elbow on the ground. If the ball is not coming at me bouncing, before I make the move toward the ball, I take both my hands, rotate forward a little bit, and put my hands on the ground so that I can then push myself toward my feet or use my hands and my foot to launch myself toward my hands. The next thing we want to do is talk about shifting. There are 30 feet behind us that we are trying to block. If the ball's coming all the way from the left side of the court, I don't need to block this entire 1.5 meters here. This entire section of the court, I don't have to block because if the ball's coming all the way from left, as long as I block to here, the ball can't score because of the angle it's coming from. Therefore, we all need to shift to our left to make sure we're actually covering the goal instead of covering the out of bounds. So the next thing we're gonna practice is how much we shift. So it'll be a very similar drill, except every attack will just be pretending the ball's coming right at us. So first, we're gonna do our ready position if the ball's in center. So we're playing it as if the ball's in center. Ready? Attack. Okay, ready as if the ball's at left.
So we should all be further left than we just were. Ready? Attack. And now ready to right. And you might notice the center player, he wants to put his feet toward the ball. So he might have been laying on his right side before, and now he's laying on his left side because he wants his feet to be toward the ball, if at all possible. Okay, right side, ready, attack. One other type of ball that we have to defend against is a ball that's bouncing when it gets to us. And if we're laid out on our side, that ball can bounce right over us, or it might hit us and then go over us. And so we have to learn ways to be taller to block those types of balls. The first thing is the top arm. So I have whichever arm I'm not on top of, so in this case my left arm, I have it above myself. This arm is ready to block that ball. And in my ready position, I'm actually leaning back a tiny bit so that when a bouncing ball comes forward toward me, all I have to do is roll toward it like that up in the air to catch that ball with forward motion. Just like in other sports, you can throw a goal ball. In fact, you have to throw a goal ball. That's how you score. But it's not throwing in the way that you would throw a football or you would throw a basketball. So when we throw the ball, it's down low, it's along the floor. It's kind of an underhand throw, except we're really trying to throw as hard as we can. You just want it to go as fast as possible because you're trying to get it to go from your end of the court past the other team into their goal. The court is divided into 3 20-foot long sections. So from your goal, 20 foot forward is your defensive zone. Then there's a 20-foot neutral zone, and then there's the other team's 20-foot zone.
Okay, so this is a basic throwing instruction session. This is when I would teach an individual or a small group of players to throw the ball for the very first time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the ball and we're going to use a bowling style motion. If you've ever gone bowling, that's what it's like. If you haven't, it's okay, because I'm gonna teach you how to do it. What you're gonna do is you're going to hold your right hand out in front of you with your palm up, as though you're holding the ball. Imagine the ball is sitting in your hand right now. Now you're gonna reach your hand straight behind you. And during this time, I would usually have the person have their eye shades on, so sometimes I might need to come and show them what that means. You're gonna reach your hand straight behind you. And that's the first step of the throw. It's called reach. Okay. Tap your left leg. You're gonna step forward with that leg. Step forward, okay? So go ahead and go back to your ready position, and we're gonna put those two together. You're gonna go reach, step, okay? Now the next two kind of go together. It's throw step. So we've done reach, we've done step, and now it's throw step. So we're gonna reach back, we're gonna step forward with that left leg, we're gonna throw the ball forward with our right hand, and then we're going to step forward with our right foot as a follow through, okay? So say that with me right now. Reach, step, throw, step.
Reach, step, throw, step.
Excellent, all right, go ahead and put yourself right back in ready position. We're gonna do it together slowly, okay? And we're gonna say the words reach, step, throw, step together, okay? 1, 2, 3. Reach, step, throw, step. And we're gonna do it with a ball now, okay? Same exact thing. Because we have a ball, we gotta do it a little bit faster so it doesn't fall out of our hands. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Reach, step, throw, step. Excellent, very good. And then I would just continue to do that process a couple more times, maybe a little bit faster, maybe a little bit slower, depending on what the student needs. Every once in a while, we'll have a student who can't, because they're small or whatever reason, can't hold it with both hands or with one hand, so they have to hold it with 2 hands. So I always just have them take their opposite hand on the top of the ball, and we do the exact same thing, but with the opposite hand just balancing the ball. It would be 1, 2, 3, reach, step, throw, step. And you just have to instruct them when to kind of let go of that ball during the throw so that it doesn't go sideways.
When I'm doing a spin throw, the first thing I do is lean, keeping my body straight, almost in a plank, just letting my ankles let my body lean forward. As I start to fall forward, I just do a left, right, left spin as my motion takes me toward the other team. So here we go, starting my lean, left, right, left. One final little tip when throwing your hardest is you want to give the ball top spin. So I dig my fingertips into the seam on the ball, and as I'm releasing the ball, I flick my hand to allow the ball to spin as it's moving down the court. You can also do a spin throw where you try to make the ball go down the court smoothly. To make it go smoothly, you need to release the ball much closer to the ground. When you throw a goal ball, the ball must strike the floor or start rolling on the floor on or before the high ball line, which is 20 feet away from the goal line. let's look at what a high ball looks like. Another rule when throwing the goal ball is the ball must roll through the neutral zone or bounce once in the neutral zone, which is the 20 feet in the middle of the court. If the ball completely clears that area, it's what's called a long ball.
To me, the best thing about playing goalball is the team aspect of the sport. You can really only be as good as you are with your teammates together. And there's a lot of sports that I could play, I've done before, things like marathon running, that aren't as team related. And I really love that aspect of having to work together, come up with a plan, make sure everyone's content with what you're doing and working together to achieve a goal.